Hello, this is Marcus Curtis from Iraq Currency Watch. And we're going to open up the page right here. We made a prediction a while back. There's been a lot of hysteria about the dollar crashing, and even a date was set. The dollar will crash on September 27th, 2016. Well, we made a statement saying that the dollar will not crash on September 27th, 2016. And our research is sound, and our economics that we've looked into verify this. And so we've made this prediction. So this is basically to counter all the people who say the dollar is going to crash on September 27th, 2016. Now we need to define this a little bit. When we say the dollar crashing, what is basically implied here is that the dollar is going to lose all of its value. People will switch it over from the currency that's in the central banks around the world. They're going to stop using that. Nations around the world are going to stop using the dollar. And the whole economy is going to collapse. And this is all going to be overnight. Now, there's variations of these dollar crash theories. One says that the dollar will crash, and then all these other overprinted currencies like the dong and the renminbi, the yuan, and the dinar, and all these other currencies are going to skyrocket as the dollar crashes. And that's highly unlikely because all of these currencies that I've mentioned have dollars in their reserve to give their currencies value. So if the dollar does crash, these currencies crash along with it. But that's only one aspect. Other people say that all currencies are fiat and all of these currencies are going to crash when the dollar crashes. And the only safe haven is going to be gold and silver. And as the dollar crashes, gold and silver is going to skyrocket. And that's just what people are going to use around the world. And if you don't have gold and silver, then you're out of luck. Now, along with this hysteria, people try to say that everything's going to shut down, and so you need emergency food supplies. And then there's newsletters that tell you when the event is coming, how to prepare for the event. And then there's people who sell inside stock tips to tell you what stocks are not going to be affected and they're going to rise when the dollar crashes. I don't know what kind of value system they're going to put on these stocks, because if the dollar crashes, then these stocks really they're valued by the dollar itself. So the stock market works with the dollar. So if the dollar crashes, the stock market crashes too. So there's a lot of different variations on this. And the other thing is that this is going to happen in one night. This is what they say. Now, we here at Iraq Currency Watch are not claiming that our national debt is not an issue. And we're not claiming that the dollar cannot be replaced. Okay, the dollar can be replaced, but it's not going to happen in one night. It's going to happen over a process of time, and that's our main point here. We're not. There's some things they bring out in economics-wise that is true, but we are saying that the dollar is not going to crash in one night like these guys are claiming. Okay, if the dollar is changed out, it's going to be changed out for another currency. And it would take a lot of time to do that, and that the dollar is so entrenched, there's no way that it can crash in one night. Everybody around the world would have to stop using the dollar before it to crash the way these guys are describing a crash. And that's highly unlikely because we listed 14 countries that use the dollar exclusively because they don't have their own currency. Then we've listed many nations aside from that use the dollar along with their own currency for commerce in their nations. Now, Mexico and Canada, that's a given, okay, but there's a lot of other countries that use the dollar along with their currency because the dollar provides a stable environment for their own currency. So, all of this would have to stop. Dollars would have to be kicked out of reserves. Oil would have to be sold using some other medium. Oil is sold in dollars. Global commerce between nations is conducted in dollars. All of this is going to stop in one night, according to these guys, and the dollar is going to crash. You cannot have a crash of the dollar while and have global commerce. You're going to have to change that dollar out on a gradual basis. It can't happen in one night, if that were even to happen in the first place. Now, there are some things going on politically, globally with the dollar, no doubt. And America has a lot of problems. National debt being $20 trillion is not a good thing. And some policies in the Federal Reserve do need to be addressed. So these guys do point to legitimate issues to make their case seem plausible. But the problem with this is that the dollar itself is too strong for all of this to happen in just one night. So we're not saying that the dollar won't be changed out. We're just saying it's not going to happen in one night, like all of these conspiracy theories do. And they claim this because they want you to buy gold and silver. They want to create urgency so that you subscribe to all this prepper crap that they're trying to sell you. So they scare you half to death saying that the dollar will crash in order to sell you their wares. And that, to me, is sickening. And that's the purpose of Iraq Currency Watch. People were selling dinar in order to put money in their own pockets, and they say the dinar is going to revalue, which is totally bogus. So we started Iraq Currency Watch to debunk this, and they tied the sale of dinar and the dinar revaluing into this dollar crash. And this was the latest thing that they started saying, is that when the dollar crashes, the Iraqi dinar will revalue, which is ludicrous. Okay, because number one, the dinar, the Central Bank of Iraq has 39 trillion dinar outside of the bank right now, and in addition to all of that, it's backed by the dollar. So if the dollar crashes, the dinar crashes, because that's what's in their reserves. Now, yeah, they have 2% gold, but most of the reserves is dollars. Same thing with China. China has gold, but most of the reserves is dollars. In an effort to provide transparency and clarity, I would like to correct some things that I said that were wrong. I was operating on information that was about 1.5 years old. To 2 years old. And this information was around when I wrote my book, but now things have changed. And I was unaware of the stuff that changed. And after I released the last video, I found this information. And so I want to correct some things that were wrong that I had said. Just so that you know, I am not concerned with being right. I am concerned in what the truth is. And I don't like it when people scare people to death. So let's scroll down. We used gold in the last video. And I showed you, this is 1 ton of gold, and I showed you this is 100 tons of gold. And when we stack these 100 tons of gold up, this is the United States gold reserves, 8,133.5 tons. Now this much is true. This much is correct. Okay. Then we stacked it up with other nations and their gold supplies. Here's the United States. Okay, here's Germany, here's the IMF, here's Italy, here's France, and here's China. And I said China has 1,054.1 tons of gold. Now, this was true a few years ago. Okay, I said China's gold is not going into the reserves. Now, there are articles that came out this year and towards the end of 2015, about 8 months ago, that I was unaware of. And we have new information on this now. So these are reported gold reserves by nation. Okay, so as we scroll down, we see the gold supply, and I said it was 17.4%. Okay, these are old numbers. Okay, apparently all these numbers have been revised, and I was wrong on a few things. So let's start over here. Okay, China goes for gold as central bank expands gold reserves. China has been adding gold to their central bank. Okay, and you can go and read this article. I'm going to post these links in the video description, and you can read these for yourself. Okay, so they've announced their gold holdings have increased. This is 1,743 metric tons. Okay, and this article was made on December 10th, 2015. So this is about 10 months ago, 8 to 10 months ago. Okay, so as you go down and you read, China brings in this gold. A portion of it goes to industry. A portion of their gold goes to people who buy gold. This even describes other people who wanted to make a statue in gold of Mao, and the Chinese government tore it down. So as you read through this article, you'll see this. Then there's another article over here by Reuters. China likely added 21 tons to gold reserves in November. Now this is dated on December 7th, 2015. So the news started to break out, and China provided this information in an effort to be more clear on their finances, because China does want to be a reserve currency. They want to be considered in the reserves, and in order for them to do that, they're going to have to provide clarity. And at one point, the amount of gold that China had was considered a state secret. And here's another article from CNN Money. China is on a massive gold buying spree. So China is buying gold, okay? So China is on a big gold binge. And you could see different numbers in 2015. How much gold went into China? Now notice all the gold that's going in, 1,495. Not all of this gold is going to their central bank reserves, which is what I pointed out. I wasn't wrong on that. Gold is going to private use for private investors and jewelry, and people in China love gold jewelry, and it's going for industry. And some of the gold is going to the central bank, and that's where I was wrong. Some gold is making it into their central bank. Okay, here's another article from China. Okay, China buying 90 billion. And you can read through and get this information. All these links are going to be posted in the video description. So the question remains, how much gold does China have? Good question, good point. And here's another question. How much gold do central banks have around the world? Because it's not 17.4% anymore. That number has gone up. So I want to show you a website here, Trading Economics. I love Trading Economics because Trading Economics is pretty right on when it comes to the numbers. From anything you want to look up, from GDP to currency supplies, it's all here. You can get all your financial information from these guys, and they constantly update it. And when you click on the link again, in future, couple months down the road, any kind of updated numbers are in the link. So it's not like an old web page that expires. They keep up with each web page and update the numbers. So as we look at this, you see China's gold. Okay, up until January 14th and July 2014, this is when I wrote my book. And in my book, I said China had 1,054 tons of gold. And even up until January 2015, that number has not changed. But then when they revised their statements in July, it was reported that China had 1,658 tons. And then in December, okay, it was 1,700 tons. So as we get up, now we see that China's total gold supply as of July of 2016 is 1,823.3 tons of gold. So you see there's a almost double of what the original number I quoted was. So I just want to make this correction. I'm human. I make mistakes. And I didn't see this information. It's been out for about 7 months, 8 months. But I've been out of the loop for a little while, and that's why I didn't know about it. But it's a mistake on my part, and I want to clarify it. Okay, so as we scroll down on this link, you'll see all the nations that are listed here. And you can scroll up, and you'll see, according to the chart, this is their gold. This is their previous gold amount. This is the highest that it's been. And then this is the lowest that it's been. Okay. So the United States, if you look at this, 8,133 tons, 0.46. Okay. And at one point, the highest it's ever been is 8,149 tons. So somewhere they got rid of some of their gold. Okay. Germany, this is their current gold supply. This is their previous. This is the highest amount they've ever had. Okay, and this is the lowest amount they've ever had. Now, if you look over here, there is a little red triangle that points down. That means that this number is different than this number. Their gold supply has actually gone down. Now, if you look at France, their gold number has gone up. China, their gold supply has gone up. Okay, Russia, their gold supply, their gold number has gone up as well. So as you can see, the green triangles show you all the nations that are acquiring gold. The red triangles show you all the nations that are getting rid of gold. So as you scroll through, some of these are no surprise. I mean, Venezuela, they've reduced their gold supply. They had 273 tons. They're down to 194.25. Their economy is hurting right now, so they're probably selling off assets. So as you go through, you can add up all the current numbers, and you could see how much gold is in all the central banks that back currency. And you could take that and put that against the current gold supply and figure out the percentage of gold in central banks. Now, I haven't run these numbers yet, but all the information is here on the Trading Economics link. Now, if you click on this link later on, any kind of update, any new gold that China reports that they acquire will be updated here. Okay, so if we go down all the way to the bottom, you will see that Canada has 1.7 tons of gold, and now they have nothing. They got rid of all of their gold. And I thought that was interesting. Why did Canada get rid of all of their gold? And you click on the link, and the Bank of Canada gold coins to be liquidated in federal push to balance books. So Canada has got rid of all the gold, and the gold they had was gold coins. And they had barely been minted before Ottawa yanked them out of circulation 100 years ago in an effort to stop gold from leaving the country during the First World War. Okay, so that's these gold coins were sitting around in their reserves, and now they're melting it down and they're getting rid of their gold, and so their currency is not going to be backed by anything. Let's close out this. I hate it when commercials come up like that. But so anyway, so now you have the scoop. China is adding gold to their central bank. However, even though that part of the analysis was wrong, it doesn't change the overall conclusion. Okay, the dollar is not going to crash on September 27th of 2016. That is hype meant to get you to buy more gold and more silver and sell other products too that you'll buy out of fear. The dollar is not going to crash on September 27th. Don't fall for that. I've made my correction, and it doesn't change the overall analysis. It doesn't change the big picture. What it does say is that the dollar could be switched out, no doubt, but it won't happen in one night, and it's going to take a lot of time to do that. It'll be a gradual process, not an overnight crash of the entire global economy. That would happen under a major catastrophic event like a nuclear war or something like that. That would change things drastically. But if things stay pretty much the same as they are right now, and outside of some world event like a Holocaust or something, the dollar is going to remain dominant, I think, for at least the next few years. So, and it would be a gradual process switching it out. It's not going to crash on September 27th. And when September 27th comes and goes, these guys are going to select another date. And I'm going to make another prediction, and I'm going to be right, and they're going to be wrong. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and don't live in fear. Get informed and put your fears to rest. Thank you.